want to start way back in week 1, kind of recap everything, and bring everything to a close this morning. Okay, because I think it's very important that, not that out of redundancy, not that we continue to go over the same stuff, but we continue to revisit it so that we figure out how to apply it to our lives. Because if we walk out of here and don't do anything with what has been taught in here, then really what's the point? You see what I'm saying? So, here's where we're going to start. And if you guys want to turn to Song of Songs, or Song of Solomon, whatever your version says, we're going to take a walk with King Solomon and his Shulamite, now wife, but at the beginning of this, it was just his fiance. And I want to preface it by saying this. The ending of this book is as beautiful as what there is, and is so rich that I was really kind of overcome with emotion at the end of it, because I really talk about a great way to wrap things up, because we've been through the courtship with King Solomon, and we've been through the, the 3-letter word talk, which you guys missed, but don't worry, we'll cover that again today. We've been through the problems, but to see how it ends, that's the beauty of it. So, week 1, we talked about this. We talked about 4 specific qualities between Solomon and his Shulamite, soon-to-be wife. And these were qualities that we're challenged to develop within ourselves to either attract the right person or to become the right person. The first one was godly character. And if you read with me chapter 1, verses 2 and 3, she says, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine. Pleasing is the fragrance of your perfume. Your name is like a perfume poured out. No wonder the maidens love you." What she's speaking of there is his godly character. His godly character. So that's number 1. Andy Stanley said in a quote, he said, "Become the person you are looking for is looking for." Become the person you are looking for is looking for. Yeah, very rich. Very rich. The second quality is growing trust. Verses 5 and 6. She says, "Dark am I, yet lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, dark like the tents of Kedar, like the tent curtains of Solomon. Do not stare at me because I'm darkened by the sun." She is concerned because at that point, pale-skinned women were considered more prominent. Okay, if you had dark skin, as she transitions herself or compares herself to, were lower class, because she had to be out in the working force. Okay? So she was self-conscious about the way that she looked. Solomon loved her past her insecurities. And I want you to keep in mind, because this book is not just written as a husband-wife book. It's also focused on how God loves and cares for us, his people. Number 3 characteristic, higher standards. Higher standards. Verse 7. She says, "Tell me, you whom I love, where you graze your flock, and where you rest your sheep at midday. Why should I be like a veiled woman?" She's saying, hey, I'm not going to be like every other out there, and I'm not going to give myself to you just to get you. She says, even through her insecurities, I'm different, I'm special, and I'm not going to be like everybody else. She has set her standards higher. So the point there was, in your relationship, together, you either decide to honor God, or together you decide to dishonor God. One way or the other, no middle. Okay? The fourth one is consistent encouragement. Verse 9. He says, "I liken you, my darling, to a mare harnessed to one of the chariots of Pharaoh." Now, those of you that haven't been here, you would think, well, he's comparing her to a horse. Not so good. But this horse was almost a deity back then. And this horse was white. And he loved horses so much that to compare her to the white horse, remember her skin is dark, to the white horse, he was saying, hey, you're almost royalty to me. You're almost godly to me. So he's encouraging her. As a result, she feels special and she feels secure. And then in order to make her feel safe, there were 3 things that men are called to do. Anybody remember what those 3 things were?